Chapter 4 Miranda. After church, it was time for the monthly beach cleanup. Armed with grabbers, rubber gloves, and bin bags, we walked from church to the beach. We initiated the beach cleanups last summer. It started out with just 3 of us, and now we have over 20 volunteers. A blend of church members and community volunteers who give up half an hour of their time once a month. Even Joshua was helping out today. I suspect his hero worship of Lewis has something to do with his attendance. My motherly wish had been for Lewis and Naomi to hit it off, but perhaps it was more important for Joshua to have a good role model. Kevin drove Mum home, then met us at the beach. The group of volunteers gathered in front of Sycamore Street. A quick head count confirmed there were 26 of us on today's litter pick. Not bad for a small community. I handed out the various supplies, bin bags designated for plastic, paper, glass or general rubbish, and grabbers to pick up the rubbish. This year, we'd also introduced sand sifters to help pick up smaller pieces of rubbish that would sink into the dry sand. We split into several small groups, with each group assigned a section of beach. Naomi and Ellen were with me and Sarah, and I sent the boys off to the furthest away grouping. It was deceptively warm, the gathering thick cloud holding in the heat from the morning sun. After a few minutes, I took off my cardigan and tied it around my waist. I gazed out to sea. Every day was the same, and yet every day was unique. Shifts in the weather would take us from calm and sunny to wild and unknown, sometimes within a few hours. Rain was predicted for mid-afternoon, but the clouds indicated it could come earlier. Hopefully it would hold off until the litter pick was done. In our little all-female cleanup group, Sarah started quietly singing "Girls Just Wanna Have Fun." While Ellen and Naomi rolled their eyes and exhumed noisy huffs, Sarah and I giggled as we sang a song that was quite at odds with picking trash from a beach. I picked up rubbish to the beat of the song, my shoulders swaying in rhythm. Being part of community projects always brings out the fun songs. It's wonderful being in the midst of what's going on in Eden Cove and the energy of getting together with people from around the village. When the children were in primary school, I met lots of other Eden Cove residents at school drop-off and pick-up, walking together with our children, talking about the school and village life. Being involved in these projects gave me that sense of community again, an anchor to be present, rather than always rushing around and losing myself at the campsite. As I worked, I prayed for Eden Cove. Naomi yelling "Ew!" brought my thoughts back to the cleanup. She held up a scrunched up can of beer and pointed to a mound of cigarette butts inside it. "This is so disgusting. People come here because it's beautiful and then happily leave their mess behind them." Everyone on the litter pick knew exactly how she felt. From further up the beach, the sound of shouting and laughter rang out. One of Joshua's friends was chasing another boy in the group with whatever he had hanging from the end of his rubbish grabber. Kevin grimaced at me as he left the group he was with. "I'll go, and I'll stay with them until we're done for today." Joshua and his friends always bring laughter and energy wherever they go, but sometimes it would be helpful if they tamed it down. I returned to sifting the sand, making sure there were no hidden bits of glass or more cigarette butts or worse. We couldn't make the entire beach pristine, but we were doing something. Satisfied that the stretch of sand directly in front of me was clear of debris, I stood and stretched my hands above my head, wiggling out the kinks in my back from bending over for so long. I looked up and down the beach, taking in the beautiful sight of Eden Cove residents working together to help clean the beach. The alarm on my phone buzzed, signalling the end of our half-hour clean. Setting and maintaining a time limit was crucial. It let people know what they were committing to, and it respected their time. I waved to the other groups and we met back at the sycamore tree. Kevin tied up the various rubbish bags and carried them to the nearest public bin with the help of some of the other volunteers. Taking a photo, he uploaded it to a portal on the council website to let them know where the rubbish was to be collected from. Thank you so much for coming along today, I said to the group. We have sandwiches and juice at our house for anyone who would like to join us. Lunch at number 11 had become a regular feature of our clean-up Sundays this year. I never knew how many people to expect, but there were always some, especially on warm days like today when a cool drink was in offer. Joshua and his friends, Lewis, Naomi, Ellen, Sarah, and 6 other volunteers all made their way to our back garden, and Mum came out to sit with us too. With chairs spread around the patio and picnic rugs on the lawn, the piles of sandwiches soon disappeared, all of us hungry after our early afternoon work. Joshua rose from his spot on the grass. Mum, are there more sandwiches? I'm starving. I returned his gaze. But you can take those empty plates inside and bring out the cakes from the pantry, he sighed, and slumped his shoulders. Mum pushed herself up from the seat and smiled at Joshua. Come on, I'll help you get the cakes. At least he had the decency to look embarrassed that his Gran was going to help him. It's okay, Gran, I can do it. It's fine, I need to keep moving or I'll stiffen up. I noticed her grin as she walked to the kitchen ahead of Joshua. As he returned with the cakes, the first drops of rain plopped to the ground. I jumped up from my chair. Quick everyone, inside before we get soaked. I glanced at the young people on the grass. Harrison, Lewis, can you gather up the blankets and cushions and put them in the shed? Thanks. I guided everyone else into the living room, although most people chose to leave, only the young crowd and Sarah remaining. I made coffees for the adults and we took up residence in the living room, leaving the others to fend for themselves in the kitchen. But rather than spend time with the boys, Naomi and Ellen retreated to Naomi's room. Mum got herself comfortable in her chair and after her coffee and cake, picked up her knitting from the table and the tip-tap of her needles created a soft, steady beat. Kevin cleared away the mugs and announced he was going to check everything was okay at the campsite. I knew it was a pretense to escape outside to his man shed. Sarah looked over to Mum. How are you feeling, Mrs. Wilson? How's your mobility? Mum looked up from her knitting without stopping. I'm getting there, thank you. It can still be sore, but I'm feeling stronger each day. And staying here is perfect. I'm gradually building up how far I walk. On my first day, I only got to the duck pond, but within a few days, I managed all of Sycamore Street. It's so encouraging when you can see your progress. Mum nodded and returned her attention back to her knitting. Sarah shifted in her seat as she turned her attention to me. Hey Miranda, now that the community choir is on a break and your mum is doing so well, how would you feel about a new challenge? Why does that question make me nervous? I hope you're not about to suggest another mud bath because that was not at all pleasant. Do people genuinely enjoy such things, or is everyone pretending? Sarah laughed. It wasn't that bad, was it? I raised my eyebrow and glared. She laughed again. Well, this suggestion is kind of the opposite of that. When I was out walking on the beach last Tuesday morning, I met the local wild swimming group. I crossed my arms. Nope, I am not going swimming in the sea. Paddling on a hot day is one thing, but I can't imagine swimming for exercise in the North Sea? No, thank you. Hear me out, said Sarah. Yes, I am suggesting we try out wild swimming. Miranda, if you could have heard them talk about how revitalising their morning swims are, you would be sold. The group even includes 2 lifeguards, so you know you'll be safe. Come on, please try it out with me. I shook my head. But there is seaweed and fish and rubbish and all sorts in the water, never mind the waves on the not-so-calm days. Yes, okay, so it's not clean and chlorinated like swimming pools, but how amazing to see you go wild swimming. Sarah looked at me with her big brown eyes. Please at least say you'll think about it. How far do they swim? You set your own distance. They swim parallel to the shore so you can come out earlier than the others or stay with the group for the whole time. It's an easy way to build up the distance without feeling you're holding anyone back. And it's not as if I can swim that far yet. I'll think about it, but I'm not guaranteeing anything. Sarah smirked, then launched into Girls Just Want to Have Fun. She knew I couldn't resist her challenges, And hadn't I just been praying for Eden Cove? Wild swimming was definitely a unique way to engage with neighbours.